All right, welcome into the Degress Podcast Emergency Podcast Edition. This is episode 16, Denard Robinson edition, and this is recording this on a Sunday. Just thought I would break it up. We'll have another one breaking down the national title game of what happened there, but I wanted to do a preview, didn't want to go too long. So, recording this Sunday, this is going to be released Monday morning on National Championship Day, but we have a national championship game. Kansas UNC had a great Carolina UNC game. It was a lot of fun to watch. It lived up to the hype, exceeded expectations, I think, especially mine. You know, anytime those two are going to get together, it's going to be a tremendous game, as it was going to be a knockdown, drag out, brawl, which it did, and it just kept going and going. It was an incredible game. I was happy with the result as Carolina was able to come out with a win, 81-77. And Kansas on the other side of the bracket was able to come out with a win, 81-65. And now we have a Roy Williams Royale of his two former teams he coached throughout the years in his storied coaching career. And we'll start first game of the day, Villanova, Kansas. Like I said, Kansas won 81-65. And Kansas got out to a hot start. Abachi hit what started out 4 of 4 from threes. They really picked up where they left off against Miami in the second half. And no Villanova early, you could tell they were missing Justin Moore. Their offense just did not seem to flow. They just passed the ball and it just stuck. They just had no movement, and it took them a while to get going offensively. Once they started going, driving, penetrating into the middle, getting Dixon some post touches, they were able to get Kansas on their heels. Villanova, like they have all tournament, just seemed to. They didn't panic. They got down early. They got down by 19, and then McCormick got his second foul with about right at the under 8 TV timeout. It was at that point it was 36-19 Kansas, and like I said earlier, they were able to, especially after he went out, Villanova was able to go get those post touches, get inside, really able to kick it out, open up some shots for Villanova, and they were able to get it to they were able to close it on a 10-0 run with make it 29-38 with about a minute and a half left, and then with McCormick going out too, Villanova was able to get some offensive rebounds. They had 9 in the first half, and able to allow them to get back into it. And like I said, it was a 10-0 run, but it ended on a 10-2 run. It was 40-29 Kansas at halftime, and then I think at the end of the day, Villanova just ran out, just didn't have enough scoring. They just didn't have enough guys to match Kansas. Villanova was able to get it to 6, and Kansas just kind of Villanova them. They just, anytime Villanova would make it close, like I said, they get it to 6. Kansas would just hit some big shots. Abachi was 6 of 7 from the field. He hit a couple of free throws to end with 21 points, 6 of 7 from 3. I think those were, outside of those 3 free throws, those were the only shots he took were 3-pointers. He hit them. He was hot. He's a senior, playing, wants to go out the right way. And Villanova, like I said, they just didn't panic. They were able to, but in the end, they just didn't have enough firepower offensively, just not enough. And McCormick was huge, double-double, 25 points. And Remy Martin who's been the X factor in this NCAA tournament for Kansas. He didn't have a great game. I think he was 1 of 5 from the field, finished with 5 points. But in the end, Kansas did enough to win. Bill Self goes back to a scene of the crime. The last time they played there was playing for a national title in the Superdome, where they lost to a really good Kentucky team back in 2012, which was already 10 years ago, which is crazy to believe. And they move on. Bill Self is going to be looking for his second national title, and then that's going to lead into what, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, an incredible, incredible game. I don't know if you could have matched it with everything leading up into it. UNC Duke, obviously Coach K, his farewell tour was rolling on. Duke was playing as well as anybody. And it started out, Duke seemed very tight, not all there. They kind of seemed nervous and timid. And then Williams had a couple of dunks that seemed like it got him going. And then after that, it was just a back and forth affair of just continuous. One team was going to make a run, then the other team made a run. UNC made a run, Duke made a run, back and forth. Just neither team could really separate themselves, and it was really good because Williams for Duke got into foul trouble early within 5 minutes. He had 4 points, and then Theo John came in, and then he got four fouls in the first half, and I don't think he even played. I don't remember even seeing him out there in the second half, but it was curious to see why they went that way. I thought after that third foul, I would have thought they would have seen Coach K go back to Williams, but he didn't. And Williams was a smart player. He played a really good tournament, and I thought it would have been fine leaving him in. I think he's a smart enough player to understand not to get that third, not be as aggressive, and would have been good because I think they needed Theo John. Not offensively, he's not much there on offense, but he's just an absolute monster on the defensive end, rebounding, and did a good job on Baycott when he was in, but those fouls ended up biting him and wasn't able to play in the second half at all. And both teams started out cold too from three. I think Carolina started out 3 of 12 and Duke started out 1 of 10, and Carolina still just didn't, or Duke, excuse me, just did not have a whole lot going. They were able to get inside, and Panchero, who I think had like the quietest 20 and 10 out of anybody, just felt like he played good, but he didn't have those fireworks spark plays that you would expect from a guy like him. And in the second half, Duke, like I said, a trend just continued. Duke run, UNC run. I think Duke got up by 6 or 7, and then Carolina came back, got up by 6, and RJ Davis had 4 fouls with 7 minutes left. It was interesting to me. I didn't like Duke's time management. They were left with 1 timeout with 10:50 left, and something that they've done all tournament, and I was surprised they never went to it. I don't think I ever heard why Duke didn't go to it. Was that 2-3 zone that just caused problems for whoever they were playing, whether it be Arkansas Tech, Texas Tech, Michigan State. They never went to it. I think it might have been in part because of the foul trouble, the size of Carolina. It just wouldn't have been a good matchup, possibly, like Grant talked about in the previous podcast. But Baycott played big. He had 11 and 21. He fouled out with he sprained his ankle. It looked like he sprained it, and he came back. Then he fouled out, and that was when I thought that was kind of when Duke had a chance to go and take control of the game, but they just never could. Caleb Love, just big shot after big shot after big shot, and Carolina, they didn't sub until Baycott got hurt, and Puff Johnson came off the bench. He was their first sub with 4:36 left in the game. He had 2 big free throws that tied it at 65, and he came in after he provided good minutes off the bench, good energy, did his job, got some rebounds, got bodies on Duke, didn't allow Duke to get those offensive rebounds. And with about 2:30 left, there was a sequence where Baycott was just gone, or just went out. I think he fouled out. Or no, he didn't. It was like less than a minute left where Baycott fouled out, but I think it might have been a stretch where he was getting his ankle stretched out and retaped or whatever he was doing. It was that time he was off the court, and there was a back and forth. It was ball in the air, just rebound. Nobody seemed to want to be able to secure the rebound, and it went right to Rhodes. Shot clock running down, and he got a pretty good look, I thought, and it felt like a shot that Duke has made all tournament, and it went out. Carolina was able to get a rebound, and it just kind of went back and forth from there. And then Caleb Love with the shot to end Duke's season, Coach K's career. Big shot off a nice screen. Had a little bit of breathing room. Hit it with 24 seconds left. And then Williams missed 2 free throws. And I can't remember the other guy that missed 2 free throws. But in the end, Duke just wasn't able to make shots. And they missed some free throws that would have kept it closer. And difference in the game, Carolina hit the shots. Duke didn't. I thought R.J. Davis and Love did a good job of keeping Roach in check. He didn't have the games that he had where he was a Roach. Carolina was able to squash him, and sets up the title game. Carolina Duke. Obviously, I got to talk a little bit about Coach K. It was his final game. Tremendous career. Obviously, the guy, for as much as somebody has to bet, as many people dog on him and find ways to pick him, you know you've had a tremendous career. He's going to finish with over 100 wins. He's going to go down as one of the greatest coaches ever, probably the greatest. And it's a tremendous career. You wish him a happy retirement, and see he's not going to be leaving the Duke program. I think he'll still be around. Duke got the #1 recruiting class coming in for John Shire. He didn't leave the cupboard bare. I believe Roach will probably be back. And with that, you know they're going to be in the mix. And that the tradition and the program that he's set for that program is going to be, you can't put it into words what the job he's done. And like I said, I wish him a happy retirement. I'm glad he didn't go out. He didn't get the fairy tale storybook ending. But yeah, tremendous career. And that's going to set up a national title game Monday. Game's set to start at tip-off at about 7:20 Mountain Time. Kansas, Carolina. 2 Blue Bloods, like I said earlier in the show. Roy Williams Royale. Carolina's looking for their first. They're looking for championship number 7. Their first since 2017 when Roy Williams was the coach. Hubert Davis was an assistant, as he's going to look for a first title in his first year. Kansas is going to be looking for their 4th national title, their first since 2008, when the Mario Chalmers game, tremendous national championship game. The last time these teams played was in 2013 in the round of 32. Kansas won 70-58, and then Carolina is actually looking for their first win over Kansas, which I thought was crazy. Since 2002, it was a preseason NIT game. Kansas was actually ranked number 2. Roy Williams was the coach of the Jayhawks, and Kansas was the number 2. Jayhawks were upset by Carolina 67-56 at Madison Square Garden. So Carolina is looking for their first win over Kansas since 2002, which is 20 years ago. Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy to think 2002 was 20 years ago. Kansas is a 4-point favorite. The total in the game is 152. I think it's going to be key for UNC to try not to have an emotional letdown. Obviously, that game, so much going into it, so much hype, lived up to it. It's going to be, if they got to come out, and I think if they're able to hit some shots early, get that confidence going, find a way to get some stops, I think Carolina's got to be able to settle in. Kansas, I think if they want to win, they just have to jump on them early. And the biggest matchup for me is going to be Bacot McCormick in the post. Who's going to be able to box out, which I think both teams are going to try to go inside early, try to get both their respective bigs on in foul trouble, get them to the bench. The backcourt of Carolina, Love and Davis, that's going to be huge. See if they can keep that hot shooting up. And Manek, I think he's going to be looking. He didn't play great. He hit some big shots, but I still think he didn't look to. He wouldn't look at this as one of his best games. He missed some big free throws. Got off to a poor shooting start, but once he saw that first one go in, he hit a big one in the corner with his heels up. And if he drops his heels, that's going to be, he would have been out of bounds, but it was a great shot clock running down. Manek's going to be looking to have a better game, get off to a better start. You know those him missing those free throws aren't going to sit well. He's going to be thinking about those. I bet you he's been shot over 100 of them today. Make sure he doesn't miss those tomorrow night. Remy Martin's going to be an X factor off the bench. I think if Carolina is able to keep him in check, the backcourt, that's going to be the key. And I also think if on the perimeter, it's going to be the Leaky Black Abachi matchup. See how Leaky Black is able to defend him, get out on Abachi, limit him. Obviously, he shot 6 of 7, hot start. I don't expect this game to be as high scoring. Both teams scored in the 80s on last night on Saturday. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring. I think the magnitude, going to see how both teams come out, like I said, and it's going to be a game. It's going to be a rock fight. It's going to be a bloodbath. In the end, I think Carolina's size, I think they're able to keep McCormick down. I think Leaky Black is able to make it uncomfortable for Abachi. And Hubert Davis in his first year, I think, gets the national title. UNC gets that first win over Kansas in 20 years. Hubert Davis and company, they cut down the nets. Roy Williams gets to celebrate. And I think in my final prediction, I think I like Carolina winning 71-67. That's all I have for today. Stay tuned for next week, later in the week when we have another episode recapping it all. It's going to be an exciting podcast. Excited to talk with you again. Make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram at TheDegress, my TikTok page as well. I'll be posting my bets, predictions there, and other content at TheDegress, that is. And we will talk to you next time. Gress out.